everyone. So today we're going to take a look at perimeter, area, and volume of triangles. And this can be really tricky to master when you're first starting out. So it's not you, it's triangles. So let's take a look. Perimeter is the distance around something. So if I have a triangle and I'm trying to measure the distance around my triangle, I'm just going to go boop, 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 and I'm just going to add up all of the numbers on every side of the triangle. So our formula is perimeter. So you'd say like perimeter equals A plus B plus C. And again, the nice thing with this is when you're trying to find perimeter, you're not like, well, which side is A, which side is B? You just are simply going to take the three numbers that you have around your triangle and you're going to add them together. So in this case, let's do this. Let's write it out like an actual formula. If we have perimeter equals A plus B plus C, I'm going to just take my numbers that I've got here and I'm going to say, I'm just going to randomly assign my 3, 3, and my 2 to A, B, and C. So I'm going to say perimeter equals 3 plus 3 plus 2. Again, the A, B, C, it's not telling us that like C is always on the left or A is always on the right. It's saying pick one side, pick a different side, and pick a different side. That's A, B, and C. It's just telling us that there's three different walls. If perimeter, let's just go into this. If it said perimeter is A plus A plus A, then that's telling us you're going to add one side 3 times, and it's not. If it's saying A plus B plus C, that's telling us there's 3 different sides and you need to measure 3 different sides, not just one side. So again, it doesn't matter which side is A, B, or C. It's just every side gets a different number. So if it's 3 plus 3 plus 2, 3 plus 3 is 6, plus my 2, perimeter equals 8. I'm adding in 3 plus 3 plus 2. Let's say I'm over here, I'm doing this triangle, and I've got 4, 2, and 3. Perimeter is going to equal 4 plus 2 plus 3. So my perimeter is going to equal, so 4 plus 2 is 8, plus 3, 8, 9, 10, 11. So perimeter is going to equal 11 on this. So even though my drawings may look the same, my perimeter is actually going to be smaller on this triangle and this triangle simply because my numbers are telling me that when I add them up together, this is going to be a bigger number. So again, I'm measuring my perimeter is the distance around the triangle. So let's take a look now at area. Okay, area of a triangle. Let's take a look at where our formula comes from. A triangle, if it looks, I'm just going to draw it like this. Let's say our triangle looks like this. If I were to flip my triangle right along this diagonal line, if I were just to go flip it, what I would end up with would be a rectangle. It would form a rectangle. Let me show you our formula for finding an area with a rectangle. With a rectangle, our formula is area equals A times B. Let me just make this a capital A so that it looks a little bit different. So area equals A times B. With a triangle, we have to go area equals A times B, and then we have to divide by 12. Get out of here. We have to divide it by 2. Area equals A times B divided by 2, because it's basically half of a rectangle. That's where our formula comes from. So let's keep that in mind when we are multiplying with our triangles. So let's do a nice, easy, I love easy numbers. Okay, so let's say this is our triangle, and we're going to start off nice and easy. Let's pretend that this one side is worth 4, this one side is worth 2. Let me just make this look more reasonable. Okay? 4 and 2. Keeping in mind that if we flipped it, it would look like a rectangle. So we need to look at our formula. So area equals A times B divided by 2. So I'm going to fill in my numbers. It doesn't really matter, like, is A the 4, is B the 4, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to put it over here. Area equals 4 times 2 divided by 2. So let's now do this. Area equals 4 times 2 is 8. And I'm going to divide that by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my area is going to be 4. And again, if I'm measuring it, let's say centimeters, then I'm going to have centimeters squared. So let's do this again, but with some other numbers, because this can be really hard. So actually, here, I'll put it up here so you guys can see. So let's say I've got 4 and 3. My formula is area equals A times B divided by 2. So let's do this again. So now area equals, I'm just going to randomly pick. It doesn't matter if 4 is the A, if 3 is the A, it doesn't matter because again, the answer is going to be the same. Part of a rectangle. So area equals, so 4 times 3 divided by 2. I'm just going to carry this on up here. So I'm just going to hear area equals 4 times 3 divided by 2, so you guys can see. I'm going to go 4 times 3, so area equals 12. I'm going to divide that by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So area equals 6. And again, let's say we're measuring in centimeters, then I'm going to say centimeters squared. So this is how we figure out the area of a triangle. Okay, let's take a look at volume. This is the volume of a triangle, a triangular prism. Imagine a 3D triangle, a triangle that, like an accordion, has just expanded. So here's our formula. I think you guys can see this. So V stands for volume. Volume equals BHL, base times height times length, divided by 2. What I kind of like about this is it looks really upper level. Like it looks kind of like something that real mathematicians would use in a lab. So it looks actually kind of impressive. It feels kind of nice to do something that looks impressive. But here's the gist of what this means. The V stands for, what are we trying to figure out? We're trying to figure out the volume. We're trying to figure out how much space could fit inside this triangle. Let's imagine this is like a military tent. How much could we fit inside this military tent? BHL is base times height times length. That just means we need to figure out each of the different lengths, each of the different, your teacher's going to give you 3 different numbers. Maybe your teacher's going to make you measure with like a ruler. On a lot of the pictures that I've seen so far, on a lot of the worksheets, they just kind of tell you the 3 numbers. One of them is going to be the length. One of them is going to be the base, the width. You can't go in the angle, like, so the 2 does not refer to this side. The 2 is actually referring to the height, the up and down, the direct point from the very bottom center of the triangle to the peak, okay? So we are given the numbers 2, 3, and 4, which is kind of nice because then we don't actually have to find the numbers. So let's say I'm actually going to now try and put it in terms of base, length, and height. So V equals BHL divided by 2. So my volume is going to be, let's say my base is 3. This is kind of like the flattest part in front. B, my length is like how far back it's going to go. Let's go, why am I putting in a B? What a goof. Okay, so 3, actually, before I even do this, this might be confusing. You're like, BHL, like, what do I do with this? Do I just, my number is going to be like 342 divided by 2. That's not what this looks like. BHL is the same as saying volume is base times height times length divided by 2. So it might be easier if you visualize it in terms of kind of expanding it out and including your multiplication symbols, because otherwise what's going to happen is if I said base times height times length, it's going to look like I'm saying 342 divided by 2, which is that's not the case. I have to go volume equals base times height. So let's go 3 times 4 times 2, divide that by 2. This is going to be a way different number than 342. So volume is 3 times 4 is 12 times 2 divided by 2. I'm going to carry on my equation on the left, which I know looks kind of messy. So I'm going to carry this on up here. So volume equals 12 times 2 divided by 2. Where did I get the 12 from again? By the way, I'm doing this from home. I wish I had my huge whiteboard here, but I don't. That's why I've got to kind of work with this teeny tiny micro whiteboard. 3 times 4 times 2, right? So I'm taking this number, and I'm taking this number. And I have to divide it by 2. So here's my 3 times 4 times 2. So there's my 3 is here, my 4 is here, my 2 is here. I have to divide this whole thing by 2. But first, before I divide any of this by 2, I'm going to multiply. So 3 times 4, and I'm just randomly picking to start with a 3 times 4. I could start with 4 times 2. But I'm saying 3 times 4 is 12. So here's my 12 right here. The 3 times 4 is ending up right here with the 12. This 2 is left over, so I'm carrying it on over here, okay? So that's why I'm rewriting it over here, the 12 by 2. So now volume equals 12 times 2 is 24. And now I have to divide it by 2. So my volume equals 12. So, and again, I don't know if you guys know this. Your teacher might have shown you, might not have shown you. When we measure volume, we actually use a teeny tiny number 3 cubed. That it lets us know how much space something is taking up, how much volume is. So I really should be writing 12 centimeters cubed. So let me do this one more time with a couple other numbers because this is really hard. This is challenging. So let's say instead of 2, 3, and 4, let's go even easier. 1, 2, and 3. Good old 1, 2, 3. So volume equals base times height times length divided by 2. So I'm going to fill in. So volume equals, I kind of like expanding mine out because to me, it's clearer that way. So I'm going to go base times height times length divided by 2. So now I'm going to replace these letters with numbers. So volume equals, Let's say my base is 2. 2 times my height is 1, times my length is 3. I have to divide that by 2. So now I'm going to actually do my multiplication. So I'm just going to do the first one first. So 2 times 1 is 2. So my 2 times 1 is right here. My 3 is carried on down here. I have to divide this by 2. I'm going to carry on over here. So volume equals 2 times 3 divided by 2. 2 times 3 is 6, so volume equals 6 divided by 2. And then now I'm going to actually do my division. Volume equals 3. And again, let's say I'm measuring in centimeters, centimeters, centimeters. Then I'm going to say 3 centimeters cubed. So there we are. This is how we do volume of a triangular prism. Thank you.